There's a story
Hello, you guys.
of a lovely lady under pressure.
Welcome to another exciting
God.
episode of Feel It Real Fun. For
It
you.
is. It is.
On the 19th of August, 2022.
That's what we say.
Yes.
All right. Hey, welcome everyone to another exciting episode.
I said all that. And it's your manifesting questions answered live. Got a lot of questions.
We got a lot of
today.
questions, a couple good ones. Yo, Triple D, Jesse.
Hello, Jesse.
Tell your friend.
Which one?
It's true.
The friend.
The friend, right? You're my friend. Alessandro, tell the friend. So, visit us at Neville.com. Victoria already said all that. Share the
I
show.
haven't said any of it.
Oh,
Go to
unbelievable.
easymanifestingmethods.com.
I claim to listen at her.
And sign up for the emails.
Yay.
Join our 90-day adventure at manifestingmasterycourse.com.
That's right, manifestingmasterycourse.com.
Mm-hmm. And for refunds, visit our YouTube channel. This hat's too big for my head.
That's because you got your hairs cut.
feelitrealfun.com.
That's right.
Yes.
So, Victoria, let us dive in.
Okay, so we
All
will.
right.
Because there's loads.
All right.
So the first question's from Aron via email. How to manifest the opposite of my problems in 60 seconds.
Too much chocolate.
And Aron says, Dear Neville, I am really suffering intensely on a daily basis. I'd like to change my current reality, which is low energy, scarcity, depression, helplessness and weakness, anxiety, fatigue, and fear. I'd like the opposite: abundance, confidence, high energy, feeling strong and energetic. Is there really a way? What can I do if I can't afford courses or coaches? All the best, Aron.
All righty, Aron. So I didn't check, so I can't pick on you, right? Yeah. So easymanifestingmethods.com. Go there, sign up, check your promotions in your spam and your inbox, though. You'll get an email that you can click the link, and you'll get 7 free lessons, the daily emails. Go to the podcast, NevilleGoddardPodcast.com. Yeah. We've got about 2,000 of them there now, almost. 2.5 million listens. This shit works, right?
Yeah.
So is there a way? Absolutely. Now I'm going to pretend we're doing a custom live call, you and me. Ready? What's the opposite of chocolate? Vanilla. Oh, sorry. Let me try again. What's the opposite of salt, Victoria?
Pepper.
Is it really, though?
Or is it sugar?
Or is it sugar, right?
I don't know.
Because they look the same, but they're different, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the cool thing, right? What you gave me here is a negative shopping list, right? Low energy, scarcity, depression, helplessness, weakness, anxiety, fatigue, and fear. I'd like the opposite abundance, confidence, high energy, feeling strong and energetic.
Yes.
That's not what you want. Those are concepts. Those are vagaries. Those are just stuff that nobody can feel real. On the other hand, some people want chocolate. Some people want vanilla. This is really real because you have to discover. Neville Goddard said your hungers are divine in origin. They're gifts from God to you, right? The big you to the you, right? Now this is so cool because see, I don't have a desire. See, I can't even go to conceptual. Conceptual just zones me right out. So instead of trying to manifest the opposite, notice, what do you hunger for? Right? Like, do you hunger to take a walk? Yeah, do you hunger to talk to a woman? Do you hunger to walk behind a woman and talk at her? Yeah. Now, this is my typical day. So stay tuned. We're going to dive deeper into specifics. I'm going to clear my throat, and we'll be back in a moment. There we go. That was fun. All right. So,
All right.
By the way, you didn't get the opposite of a question. You got an answer. You imagined getting an answer. An answer is not the opposite of a question. Right? An answer is an answer. You didn't say, well, I've got a question and what's the opposite of a question. No, you had a hunger for a question or an answer or some salt. Or yes. Some people put salt on vanilla sizzle. Anyway, let us continue.
Salt on caramel. Salted caramel. Oh, I love that.
Look at her. See, so what's the opposite of salted caramel?
Huh? I don't know. There is none.
Is it chocolate peanut butter?
Well, I
is it
wouldn't
pickle
have that.
juice? Right? They're all different desires. That's the thing. They're all different things you can assume. So let us continue, Victoria. You're reading comments.
Well, only because Scott says I can't hear you, but I just then double checked and it is on. So sorry, Scott.
Well.
Okay,
get a new fucking phone.
Thank you, Aron, for your question.
right? Walk outside of the if you're probably at the Bing sizzle, right? If you're at the
Or on the
Bing and you
toilet.
can't hear us, walk outside of the Bing. Somebody type it to sizzle. Walk outside of the Bing, and somebody tag Joe Weldon. Next,
Okay. Next is from Kathy on Facebook.
that's right.
Rainy day manifesting.
Rainy day in
And Kathy
Texas.
says, it's raining here in Texas, which is great, but this could potentially put me out of work for a week. Any advice as to what to imagine?
All right, we'll get to the comments in a bit. All right, so here's the cool thing, right? Neville Goddard taught something. We explored this in Remarkable, I forget what number the month was, but when we dove into the disciple of Matthew, Matthew reveals that your desires have their own plan and purpose for fulfillment. Your problems don't, by the way. All the time people write me about problems, and it's like, what's your desire? And it's like, well, I don't want to eat noodles, is what they're telling me. So what do you desire to eat? Right? Here's the cool thing. When you start to drill in your desires, and I love that Triple D Guatham helped you with this a little bit. When you start to drill into your desires, you get that the problem is immaterial. So in the comments, Kathy said,
What Kathy really wants is... So Kathy said this.
well, she said the part after the dash.
A husband to not work every day and plenty of money.
Alrighty, so here's what I notice, right? Unless your husband's made of sugar, the rain doesn't matter. Not to work every day, hey, some people work in the rain, some people don't. Doesn't matter, right? Some people, they only work when it rains. And plenty of money, and again, money doesn't melt or grow based on rain. That's what's really cool. And I poke at this because if you poke at a problem, you notice the rain has nothing to do with anything. Nothing. Yeah. So here's what happens. So what if you're imagining up, hey, not having to work every day or something, or doubling your income or working half the time? And what happens is you start to notice, you know what, I hunger to write an ebook, but I don't know what to write about. You get to get out of your own way. You get to really notice what's your real desire. If your desire is to have a husband, cool. Imagine what would imply that you're happily married. And maybe you'll find when it's raining, you go to the library. At the library, you meet a husband, right? And hopefully they're not already a husband. You know what I mean?
Oh, well. Yeah.
So this is where you get to play. What's the real desire? Because problems don't have any power. Desires have their own plan and power for fulfillment. All you got to do is put it on your plate. So, Victoria.
Okay, so that was for Kathy. Thanks very much
On
for your question.
Facebook.
Kathy on Facebook.
All right.
The next question's from Laderian G on YouTube. The tones of reality in 3 seconds or
I
less.
am really constraining myself. Look at how the pressure.
Laderian asks, so when you say that a scene is a snippet, how is it that you can give it all the tones of reality in such a brief moment?
All right, so we could do Victoria's mustard method here.
My mustard method.
Yeah, Victoria's got a mustard method, you know. So when we're at the store and she looks over and she sees the 3 kinds of mustard are on sale, and suddenly, like, it's right. Yeah, she's experiencing something, right?
Yeah, mustard.
I was
Yes.
sharing in the Triple D group that I study pizza commercials, right? Like, this is what happens. Like, I go over to the hot tub at night, and Victoria comes over, and I read some things, and I study some stuff, and the next thing you know, I'm studying pizza commercials, right? Because Victoria's not there. She's not into
So
pizza
he's allowed.
commercials, right?
No,
So
yeah.
it's like if I say, hey, Victoria, how about if we sit down and watch some pizza commercials together? Like, she's not interested, but I can do it in the hot tub all by my privacy, right? So I'm watching me some pizza videos, and here's what I notice. A pizza video doesn't just show you a pizza. A pizza video shows you a party, right? They'll show a couple different pizzas there. They'll show people eating pizzas.
Yeah.
They'll show like the cheese being like pulled apart as it's coming closer. They'll just pull it apart and they'll zoom in, right? That kind of thing.
With the cheese.
With the
being
cheese all
really
stringy
long.
and shit, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, you're going, party, cheese, right? Can't help it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, because how do you do it in 3 seconds or less? If it wasn't possible, pizza commercials wouldn't work. Right? Neither would political commercials, right? It's fun to watch when people don't get that they are you do this to yourself all the time. She saw the mustard, right? No. She starts leaning into the mustard, right?
Yeah.
So like when you walk down the hall. So we call this the coffee cooler method, right? Well,
Coffee cooler.
yeah, the coffee cooler method, right? You know, where the coffee machine is, right? At work. So you go to work and there's a coffee room, right? And you're walking past the coffee room and you hear someone say something like, I'm not paying her alimony. I don't even know if that fucking kid is mine. And suddenly it's like, whoa, you start walking a little slower and you lean in a little bit, right? Because you don't hear the whole conversation. You just hear enough to like, whoa.
Lure you in.
I'm interested, right? So this is what you do. You create something that implies your wish has been fulfilled, right? And you do it in a way, it's a tiny little snip that causes you to lean in, like a pizza commercial, right?
I reckon the click of my cottage door was definitely all around that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people try to construct these long ass novels instead of like that little tiny scene. It's this little tiny scene. The scene is a snip, right? So we're going to keep answering this. So stay tuned. We're going to dive into some other seeming questions as well.
Okay, so that was for Ladarian G. Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
The next question's from Jay via email. The lullaby technique in 60 seconds? Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be... So I got notes way on the bottom here for this one.
Right, so Jay asks, can you manifest something specific with the lullaby technique, or is it always going to be something general?
Right. So I don't know where you're studying, what you're looking at, so we got to dive into some details, right? So Neville shares this thing, we'll call it the lullaby method. And he said, and it begins with, by the way, people get confused about this because they think it's all affirmations too. So Neville begins with, you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Right, so what do I want? Ooh, pizza. So while in a relaxed, sleepy state, repeat a short phrase that implies your wish has been fulfilled. Yum. Right? Until that sensation dominates your mind. If you got to repeat it more than once, right, you're you don't have to. Sensation dominates the mind. Sensation dominates the mind. Sensation dominates the mind. Let's skip down a little bit more. So this is from the core lectures. By the way, we named them the core lectures because we own the original manuscript. Right? Why? Just for fun. It was going for like 20 grand on the, what do we call it? The place where you buy heavy shit.
Well, on the eBay.
Yeah, it was on the eBay for like 20 grand or something. Like we got it for a couple $100. Anyway, so Neville was asked, is it possible to imagine several things at the same time, or should I confine my imagining to one desire? Again, this has to do with this whole thing of, isn't it wonderful, the lullaby thing. So ready? Neville says, instead of imagining wealth, health, and friends, imagine being ecstatic. Oh, why would he say that? Right? What would the feeling be like if you were ecstatic without knowing what had happened to produce your ecstasy? Reduce the idea of ecstasy to a single sensation, sensation, sensation. Isn't it wonderful? Do not allow the conscious reasoning mind, the cortex, right, to ask why, because if it does, it will start to look for visible causes, and then the sensation will be lost. Repeat over and over again, isn't it wonderful? By the way, back up here, right? It ain't about repeating the words. Reduce the idea of ecstasy to the single sensation, comma, exclamation marks, quotation marks, all kinds of marks. Isn't it wonderful? It's a single sensation that he's focusing you from, right? Catch the one sensation. Why the hell? Oh, that's yours. No wonder it gives an update. Go with the flow.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I turned all that shit off on mine.
Yes.
Catch the one sensation of the wonder of it all, and the things will happen to bear witness to the truth of this sensation. I'm telling you, it ain't the words. But let's go way back up to that question.
Okay.
Ready? Where the hell?
Just there.
Can you manifest something specific with the lullaby technique, or is it always going to be something general? I'm a fan of playing with all these little things that Neville gave us, but what it really comes down to is, what do you want? What would imply it? It's sort of like going, righty-o, can I start a car with a hammer? Right? No, I can promise you this. You put me in a ghetto, and I got to get out, and all I got's a hammer, a car is getting started. Right? It may involve me hammering a human. It may involve me threatening to hammer a human. Right? But on the other hand, I have to get a hammer, a ghetto, a human, a car. I mean, why would I imagine it all up like that? That's in the reverse. Right? What do you want? Right? What's your desire? right? Experience what would imply your wish is fulfilled. It may or may not be. Isn't it wonderful, right? Odds are it ain't going to be the words. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, and here's the thing. We talk about res geste, right? Spontaneous utterance. Yum, right? If you walk around saying, isn't it wonderful all day long already?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, isn't it wonderful?
No.
Right? Isn't it wonderful? I mean, adding in a few more, all right, that's going to be natural for you. See, I'm the guy that goes, boom. Right? Yeah. I do. I wake up in the morning. What do I do? Victoria. Boom. Right? It's time. So don't start with technique to try to figure out something. Notice what your hunger is now. Experience what would imply that wish is actually fulfilled. Be done. So, hope I thoroughly confused the cortex with all that context. So,
Okay.
all right. Let us continue.
Excellent.
Thanks, Jay. That was
thank you,
good
Jay,
fun.
for your question.
Doobity bop bop.
The next question's from Carmen on Facebook. Who controls the house? And Carmen asks, hello, and thanks for all you do.
Hey.
Hello. I'm learning by reading your Facebook posts, playing, and mostly noticing. Here's my question. We go to the end. We don't mess with the middles, the house. Who or what is controlling the house?
This is what's so cool, because if you go to some weird Neville Goddard groups, just type in weird Neville Goddard groups. You'll get a lot of them, right? And they'll say things like, radio, well, you've got two kinds of desires. You've got a spiritual desire and you got ego desires. And I say, right, ego desires, right? And it's like, well, you got rationalized desires and you've got spiritualized desires. And I go, right. See, I don't know about all this shit. I just go, right. I just give me the fucking ice cream. So, but here's the thing. Neville taught something very simple. Your desires are divine in origin. He said this a couple of different ways, but I don't ever recall him talking about, well, you got to separate out your ego-based desires from your spiritualized desires, and you got to put your ego desires in a box and catch that box on fire. Right? And I mention all this because your desires are divine in origin. Neville said, and again, going back to Matthew, because this is so good. I'm so glad you asked this, Carmen, because your desires are divine in origin. They have a built-in plan and power. End of line. If it's a desire, okay, and the desire is always you-oriented. Loving, happy husband. My desire isn't her, and because if I make it her a thing, then it has to be what the thing does. The thing does what I want the thing to do when I want it to do it, doesn't it? Right? And it just gets weird and freaky. Yeah. But the desire, then I have to always control the thing. I don't like having to control the thing, right? It doesn't have free will, not in my universe, right? Yeah. So again, notice how it gets a little weird when we bring in things that don't matter. And notice how, Carmen, it just comes back to you. You gave you a desire. And you don't have to understand the hows, the whens, the whats. All you got to do is accept my desire is divine in origin. My desire is to be a happy, loving husband. That gives to her. Loving, happy husband imagines lovely things for her. And it's just so cool because then it's like, radio, how she gets happy, I don't care. Right? It's like, hey,
just imagine her happy.
Yeah, because if I got to try to make her happy, we've all tried that. Hey, let me try to make you happy.
No,
right?
Don't work that way.
That don't work.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm glad you asked. We're going to continue to answer it before and after you asked with other questions too.
Yep.
Do you think I got that one? Go to the end. Don't mess with the middles. Who or what's controlling the house? So. Yeah, that's what's cool. Well, by the way, what's really cool is if you're not worried about the house, as you're crossing the bridges, you just love, or you cross the bridge of incidents, you love the view. On the other hand, if you're trying to avoid traffic and speed bumps and so on and pick the bridge while you're crossing it, oh, good Lord. Look at that. Look at that triple D love going back and forth.
I know, there's lots going on
it's
there.
It's the triple D sister and brotherhood.
Okay.
All right.
So that was from Carmen. Thank you very much for your question, Carmen.
That's right.
The next question's from Guatem in Dream Driven Day. Force, pressure, making a living. And Guatem says, I'm in a dilemma, a little bit of in a man's land.
Oh, yeah.
I'm currently trading for a living. I enjoy it, but there is force as I feel the pressure to do this for a living and provide. I absolutely do not know what I want to do. I do not enjoy this pressure. I only know I want to be possessed and enjoy what I do and make a fuck ton of money. Wake up like you do, on fire. Am I making trading a false god even though I enjoy it? Thank you for all that you are. Love you, Victoria and 20. Oh, thank you, Goddard.
Coolio. So here's what I noticed. I enjoyed trading, but I also noticed I only traded to make money. Right? And it's like, yeah, was it fun? Sure. I mean, I could trade. I remember really pissing Victoria off one night because I just came back from like a weekend with our trading guru guy. And I come back and the market's just going sideways, right? And so she's waiting for it to take a movement in either direction. And I took like 20 pips, like in like 25 minutes.
Just
I'm
out.
like, watch me,
in,
watch me,
out.
watch me, watch me,
I
watch
know.
me, watch me, right? And then she's like, I'm going to bed. And I got that was like Ab slamming the door. I'm going to bed, but not with you. Right? I'm just providing.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the thing. I love what I do here more than I love having traded. Right? For me, trading was trading time for dollars. This is something that I build systems in, so this makes us money. But I can continuously comment and chat and do things. I give shit away constantly, right? It's like I can't help but talk and share about this stuff, right? So I build in systems so the damn thing makes some money. Because without the systems, it would just be nuts. And this is what's really cool, because if you're feeling force and pressure, and you used a phrase here that I want to point out, making a living, right? Okay, everybody write this down. Work is a subset of life. You determine what kind of day you have, and then you figure out what kind of work can I squeeze into that.
Yeah, it's not the other way around.
Everyone you know is probably living from, I work, and in the evening I can have a whiskey or a beer. I go, rightio. Right? If I wanted a whiskey and a beer every morning, I'd go, right, what do I need to do so that's possible, right? I don't. But here's the cool thing. I love getting up to listen to the birds. I'm an early guy. I love getting to the pool when there's not a bunch of people there, so I go around 11. I love eating with her and having a yummy, yummy nap afterwards. It's just lovely. We get up, we do our things, and I squeeze little bits of work in there. And that's the cool thing, because, quote unquote, I love what I do. I love answering your emails. I learn heaps from them, because when I answer an email, it's like on a live call, we dance. And that's the cool thing. So on the other side of the coin, you get to decide, how do you want to wake up in the morning? How do you want to go to bed at night? What do you want to do during the day? Really nail those things, and suddenly some way to make money while you do that will happen. I can promise you that. And that's the cool thing. It's sort of like whenever we first got together, and like during that first year and a half, I'm exploring how to build this damn thing. And it's like Victoria goes, right, I'm going to whatever the suburb was, but there was a shopping mall there called the Chadstone.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, I love the Chadstone.
Yes.
So I go to the Chadstone. Right? I go to the Chadstone with my heavy as hell laptop and a briefcase. And I write the first Neville Goddard Simplified book there. Then I write the second one there on another trip. Because I decided, hey, she can drive in traffic. I'll go with her so I can spend, because whenever she'd go out of town like that, essentially, she'd be gone for like 12-hour days. I'd miss her. So it's like, I'll go sit in traffic for 2 hours with her, and I'll sit in traffic for 2 hours back. And in the meantime, I'll write a book that costs $7. It'll take me 7 hours. And if I sell one copy, I made $1 an hour. If I've sold 1,000, I made $1,000 an hour. And I started building the kingdom with that. Right? And that's the cool thing. It's like, and when I stopped wanting to write, I stopped writing. I didn't write anything for years. I've got probably 3-4 more volumes of that half written that I just have no interest in producing. And that's the cool thing, because if I put myself under pressure to complete those old projects, that'll take me 40 hours. Versus like, radio, I'm designing something for a dream-driven day right now, which is going to totally rock a lot of people's worlds. Right? She knows all about it.
Yeah.
I'm going nuts here, having fun. So, how do you wake up? How do you go to bed? What do you do during the day? Nail those things in your chosen day, and then suddenly the other stuff takes care of itself. Then you get people like Dr. Brian. Hey, did you ever make that video? because I wanted to do a video with a song. Do you remember what song it was?
No, I do remember you
I remember
saying
said
it
that.
on a
It was a
show.
really weird song or an unusual song.
He's
Anyway,
probably done lots.
all right. I've got a new song. I'll give it to you.
No, not the Los Angeles
Oh, it's
at
5
5
a.m.
in the
Yeah,
morning.
it's great. Anyway, Joe Weld.
Okay.
Alessandra.
All right. So that was for Guadam.
Alessandra.
Thank you very much
Yeah,
for
that
your
was good.
question,
I
Guadam.
thought it was pretty good.
Do you? You thought it was pretty good? What, the question? You
Yes.
what?
By the way, notice what the desire is. All right, there's something in there about money and shit, but he wants to wake up on fire.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you.
Let things be visceral. Right? You get how much fun I have doing these shows with her and you. Right?
Cool.
Actually, Mr. Bombastic, Fantastic, Elastic,
That was it.
Love.
Good on you, Ashley.
Good on you, Ashley. Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Send me a link. Send me a link. Send me a link if you did. Fantastic, Elastic, Bombastic, Love.
All right.
I love our people. Like, seriously, you guys. Yep. She gets me in bed. You guys get me out.
Yes.
He can make it up. Right? He can make it up. He's the doctor of adverbs and adjectivals.
The next question's from Sarah in Manifesting Mastery.
Under pressure. Sorry.
Money pressure versus money play. And Sarah asks, money is flowing out faster than flowing in for now, and I feel like sometimes I make the mistake of placing power on money over me to the point of pressure. Money flowing in feels great to imagine, but I think when I place pressure instead of play, it doesn't flow, or it can flow, but my journey sucks. How do I get better at staying or getting back to a playful and loving state about money flowing in? I feel like you'll say, let it be not about money.
All
Yes.
right.
I think I think you're right, Sarah.
So we got some yogi people here, like Uma
Yes.
Shaga. And, I used to get it. I played a lot with my breath when I was younger because, like, I was an only child and Mom used to make me stare at the church. And so I'd read yoga books, like, without knowing, and I'd play with the different ratios of breathing, right? I mean, for me, math is about money and breath work. Right? So be like, right, breathe in for 4, out for 8, breathe in for 8, out for 4, that kind of thing. Breathe in for 18, breathe out, like whatever. There's so many ways you can play with breathing, right?
Yes.
And it's the same with money, by the way. So, like, I notice people will find paradigms around money that create pressure, right? So if I said something like, right, so pick a number you can relate to when it comes to money, and people go, right, $100,000. I'm like, cool. So is that like a year that you're relating to, or 6 months? It's like, oh yeah, 100 grand in a year. That's what I can relate to. Now, I'm not saying make up a big number in a small time frame. I just want to know. I want you to pick a number you can relate to, and I want you to discover the time frame you relate to, right? And some people go, righty-o. So I said, wow. All right, so it's like if you're going to double that and half that, like, what would happen? And suddenly you can just tell where they think they're under pressure, how are they going to do it under pressure? How are you going to do it trading time for dollars? Because if I'm making 100 in a year to make 100 in 6 months, I'd have to work 4 times as hard, and people's brains just sort of spin out, and their breathing stops. And it's just like scuba diving. Always be breathing. Always be breathing. We're both scuba certified. We've never scubaed together. I've never scubaed here, the most beautiful scuba place in the world, and I haven't bothered, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to learn the math again. But
Yeah.
math is all about breathing, and math is all about money. And here's the cool thing. If you go down to depth, right, and you come back up, you don't just come up. You come up in stages, and you decompress, and you come up in stages, and you decompress, and you come up in stages, and you decompress. And the cool thing about money is you get to decompress. You get to notice, where am I pressuring or panicking about money today? It's like, righty-o, just decompress it. Stop and be still. Because that's what happens when you scuba dive. You go down to depth, and you come up about halfway, and you check your scuba thing, and you go, righty-o, I got to stay here for 7 minutes. Then you come up to the next staging area. You got to stay there for about 7 minutes. Because if you go too fast, you get the bends. And that's not fun from what I hear.
Was it 7 minutes, was it?
Oh, no, it depends on your depth. and how long you've been down.
Yeah.
So you got to do math.
Yeah.
Right? So this whole thing about math and money and stuff, you get to notice, like, when I tell somebody, like seriously, I think in terms of manifestingmasterycourses.com, right? So I go manifestingmasterycourse.com, and I look at something and I go, that's $297. My brain goes, that's 3 Manifesting Mastery courses. So will that investment help me sell 3 more Manifesting Mastery courses? Right? Yeah. How fast will it? How easy will it? How much more cool will it make the program? Right? So when we switch servers, and our current new server is running about, I don't know, let's say $100 a month. Right? That's 1 Manifesting Mastery course a month. Right? And that's how I think. Now, on the other hand, when I made $7.70 an hour as a prison guard, right, I'm thinking, right, how many inmates do I got to fucking put up with for $1,000? Right? So 2,200 inmates at Camp Hill, you're making $7.70 an hour, do that, take out 30% in taxes. Yeah, then there's union dues and all that dumb shit. And then I just give up. But on the other hand, let's continue.
Let's continue.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So that was for Zara. Thank you very much for your question, Zara. Right.
Right. And we're going to continue to answer Zara's question as we get into Lisa's question.
Yeah, got you.
As usual.
Then the next question's from Lisa in Dream Driven Day. Guilt and shame versus good fun. And Lisa says, hello 20, Victoria, and Feel It Real Fun family. Since I bought the Pearl, guilt and shame seem to evaporate from my life. I would appreciate hearing from both you, 20, and Victoria about your experience with this. Victoria going from finance to her Merchant of Garden girl, and 20 literally changing his name and leaving his country of origin to become a happy-loving teacher, among other lovely things.
Yes.
Thank you for this platform where we can laugh and share as family.
Hoo-ha. Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah.
Boom. So, Victoria, she called you out, so I guess you're first.
Wow.
I love that, by the way.
Going from finance to the Emergent of Garden girl. Well, leaving the world of finance was actually really hard for me because part of it really was my identity for a long while, it felt like.
Sure.
And it was also giving up the money, like my own independent money, and it was just giving up loads. And I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what else. I don't really know. I think it was more for me when I cut from being full-time to part-time. That's sort of when the transition really happened, because that's when I started going to the dog park with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I suddenly got how, wow, people, not everyone in the world works 40 hours a week, Monday to Friday. It was like I hadn't witnessed it before. And so many people were out there loving the dog park, being in the sun, enjoying each other's company. And it was like, I was almost in disbelief because because my world had been so wrapped up in Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and it was corporate work. It was like really full on, and so that's where it sort of started, I reckon. Give me some pointers as well, because you know more.
So I'll hijack you for a little bit.
Yeah, go.
Cool. So next month, we're going to do some calls on identity-based manifesting and Joseph Goddard. Crass commercial. I love doing these. So, ready? So she had a cortisol-driven identity-based life. Her identity based on work. It's a very masculine thing, right? And it's like, this is what I notice in history. Women go, right, we want what men got, so we'll take the worst part of them. Right? Please don't steal from men, right? We are screwed up, guys. So this whole thing of like, I am a steel worker. And when the steel mills closed, right? When Chili Billy sent all the steel mill stuff down to South America and stuff, all these guys lost their identities and became alcoholics,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like, fuck, man, what am I going to do? That's not the question. Who are you? Right? They became nobody.
Excuse me.
They became, yep, I'm going to sit there and watch me the spurts thing, right? It was great. Cable TV went nuts. So the steel mills closed. The cable company went crazy, putting out all the new sport networks, right? And the guys sat around and drank beers all day, right? Now, this is what's really cool to notice. A cortisol-driven, identity-based life. Watch this. So you went from working full-time, which had its fair amount of cortisol,
Yep.
right? Then you went to part-time consultant.
Yes.
And how many times a day did you check your computer for no work?
Yeah, I know.
Right. And then she'd get pissed off and go outside and stare at the garden.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
She didn't even work in it. She'd stare at
true.
it. Then she'd come back
Me
in.
with worry. Oh,
Then she'd come back in, check the email. All right. Oh, here's 2 hours worth of work. We're willing to pay you for an hour.
yeah.
Right. We're a multi-billion-dollar company. We'll give you 60 minutes worth of pay for 2 hours worth of work. So. And then she'll do that, and then I'll dicker with her, and then she'll go outside and stare at the garden again. Right? Right? This is so much fun, right? Because whenever you can acknowledge, right, my identity is based on work, so is my free time. When I don't have work, I don't have the money to spend on the time. Or even if you do, you don't realize you do because you're lost in the loop, right? So what's cool is she dropped being cortisol driven, dropped being identity driven or identity based on work. And then she dropped the whole thing of like, I need my independence, my money, right? Oh my God, get how money showed up in these things today?
Yeah.
She gets to enjoy having money. Not my money versus your money versus our money versus the rules we have around money versus Jesus Christ. We could trade in enjoyment for rules. Right? How cool is that, right? We could enjoy each other or we could have boundaries. Oh my God, the boundaries I can have with her. All right, I'll give you your stick back. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, very good.
Yeah.
I reckon that, yeah, that is very good. Yes, that's good. Let me hear about you, babe.
Cool. So when you buy the pearl, right? Remember the pearl is a multi-layered thing. Right? Like I've been saying for years, people are like onions. They're multi-layered. They try to pretend they're potatoes. You're not a potato. You're more like an onion, right? Trust me, right? But the pearl is a multi-layered thing too. Right? It starts with a little grit and like it just grows, right? Now here's the fun thing. She got to buy the pearl as far as like, I'm a great employee, right? I just work for an organization that sucks,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm a great consultant. They just don't pay me my worth, right? And as she explored more and more the yumminess of her, now we get to do our dance. We get to have our impact in the world. We get to play the game that we play, right? And that's the cool thing because I remember, and you mentioned guilt and shame. Guilt it is pretty much self-imposed. Shame is you're a bad girl, right? Right? Everybody type in Lisa is a bad girl and ignore her, right? When you shame someone, you have to turn away, right? Right? We're just going to ignore you, right? Yeah. Then you feel guilty, right? All this cool shit that we get to do. I used to feel guilty that she worked, right? She'd get in the car. She started at 9 in the morning. She'd leave at 9:05.
Yes.
She'd drive down the road. I'd hear the car disappear. I'd start making my rollies while she was still here. I'd have like 40 little soldiers. I'm going to smoke while I type, right? I entered the state of Stephen King, right? Having never read Stephen King, except for Stephen King on writing and the You Should See What I See book. Those are the only two I ever read. And it's like, radio. So I'd roll 40, right? And then I'd just smoke and type. And you can imagine by lunchtime, the house is full of smoke. The website is full of type. And then I start feeling guilty because she worked all day. Fuck. Right? I'm bumping into a layer of the onion. You always get to bump into layers of the onion. You get to bump into layers of the pearl. Or haven't you bought the pearl? Here I am. All right, I'm starting over from scratch. I've demolished everything. Right? I'm starting over from scratch. I'm trading. I'm doing shit online. I'm not able to do coaching anymore because of the visa I'm on. And it's like, rightio. So I'm starting from scratch, right? And I get to notice, where am I nuts? And that's where I get to buy the pearl. Crass commercial, pearlpowerpack.com. All right? Seriously, those calls were wonderful. You can get all 3 recordings for the price of one at pearlpowerpack.com. I didn't know they were outside.
They're still outside.
All right.
There's still sunbaking, aren't they?
All right.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good. How'd we do?
Yeah, I think we did A. I think, you did Ace, babe.
And like I said, I had to give up my guilt. Like, seriously, it'd be like time for her to come home. I'm going, fuck, I'm going to wash some dishes.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Really?
I did lay it on you, didn't I? I'd come home and go, well, what have you done today?
Did you? I didn't even know. I thought it was all self-imposed.
I think I did ask a couple of times.
Yeah. But it's fun. Whenever you can get this shit out, right?
Yeah.
Bring it out in the open. Like I said, I honestly didn't know she said that. I just thought it was all self-imposed, but it's probable. She's mean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, there you go. Lisa says it's lovely.
Thank you. Cool.
All right.
Pearl
So,
nuts.
thank you loads, Lisa, for your question. And what we'd like to know is tell us what was your hashtag. Whoa, strawberry bits.
Look, there's a little one.
Oh.
This little Joe.
And mine was always remembering the power and the plan that your desire is divine in origin, and it's like coupled with that. Once you're clear on your desire, do you know what I mean? There's the power and the plan just to bring it into being. So I don't know if I've used the right words there.
No,
but
I think you said that perfectly.
yeah, that for me is because that came up for a few of them. That's my hashtag strawberry bits.
You know, the pearl, the power and the plan, and the pearl. Think about how they work together, right? Whenever she stopped going into the independent money thing, being a provider, because what did she want to do? Right?
Provider
she wanted
as
to
well.
she wanted to be a provider, right?
Yeah.
The masculine wants to provide.
Yeah.
Right? So as soon as she could stop dropping that, she could realize, oh my God, we are provided for. Look what he's built. Look what we've done together. Look what we can do with it if we play as a team. And that's the cool thing, because as soon as she bought the pearl, remember, your faith in God is measured by what? Your confidence in you. Right? And here's the thing. Whenever she got confident in her, that's when we had the discussion of, you know what? They go away. They don't treat you nice. I am not a fan of people not treating her nice, right? I don't care who you are. You don't treat her nice, shit's flying, right? But this is the cool thing. When she started buying her, she stopped staring at the garden. The plan and the power, so she'd have the time, the energy, so we could hire people to help her. That's the fun thing, right there. The plan and the power are revealed as you buy the pearl. And that's the gorgeous thing. You buy the pearl. All right.
Very cool.
Mary. Triple D. Yo. All right. Colby.
Okay.
P to the third power. Pearlpowerpack.com. All right. So, Victoria.
They were our hashtag strawberry bits. While you type in yours, go to easymanifestingmethods.com.
That is the rightness. So when you do that and you sign up, right, you're going to get a confirmation email sent to your inbox. It may end up in your promotions or spam. Drag it in, click the thing, and go, go, go.
Go, go, go.
Go, go, go.
She's here too.
Is she?
Go.
I didn't see go, go.
Go, go.
Welcome, go, go.
Join our 90-day adventure at manifestingmasterycourse.com.
That's that $97 thing. Takes like 15 minutes. As Rob Begg would say, what's it costing you not to do it? Now, here's the cool thing. Read half a dozen success stories. Go read 1,000 of them. And figure if you read 10 success stories a day, it'll take you 100 days to read it, like 1,000 of them. And you can get, that's all the shit you missed out on plus by waiting. The state of waiter. Oh my God. Victoria.
And for refunds, visit our YouTube channel, feelitrealfun.com.
I think that pretty much summarizes it.
Does it? Which bit?
You see this woman? Tell them about lunch real quick.
Oh, curry laksa. And I'm
Tony
making a
Doyle.
really yummy curry laksa. And what we sometimes do is we oven bake, well, crispy chicken thigh fillets, and I'll slice them up and put them on top of the curry laksa. It's just so yummy.
We went to this place called the Laksa
Laksa
Bar
bar.
in Melbourne,
Yes.
and it's permanently closed now.
Yeah.
And so we had to go right. And Victoria started making it on her own, and like
Yes.
seriously, it's better than theirs.
Yeah.
And theirs was
it's
like award winning.
delish. Yeah.
Right? So like I have to go to the pool today and exercise,
Yes.
right?
While I cook.
While she cooks, right? And then I get to come home.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ah,
Then we gobble it up.
yes, indeed.
Okay. Which curry, red, yellow, or green? It's called curry laksa. Laksa paste.
LAKS.
Laksa. Laksa. Yes.
LAKSA.
All right.
All right.
That's our show.
Have a lovely day, everyone.
Yeah. And we'll catch you next week.
All right.
Yeah.
Boom.